But light and darkness in this instance too, like if you're looking at it from more of a, I don't even know what word to use. What's a good word? The non-literal, esoteric.
I
Um,
mean, it does say it creates light and dark, calls it morning and night. Like, we don't have to go too far with that yet.
right. Well, no, but you can also, that's what I'm saying. Like it is also like a spiritual understanding too, right? So there's
Oh, light and
like light
darkness.
and darkness. But there's the only thing I think that is relevant in that situation though is that is the evening and morning and then the first day, right? So the darkness precedes the light in this instant, right? Evening and morning, and then the light comes, then there's the first day, right? So it's almost like it's if you're looking at it from again, all things relating to the self, right? This is like a guidebook to how to become uh spiritual or however you want to define it, but
Yeah.
that there has to be the darkness there first for you to see the light, right? Let's just say you were born into light. There is not this passing through, right, that we're talking about in the first day. The first part of creation is going to be that light coming through and shining on the darkness. But darkness
Yeah.
preceding the light, I think, is important to understand.
Yeah, and I think I mean, I like that you discuss from that perspective too. But from me, I'll be honest. Like, from my perspective, it's extremely clearly talking about the physical creation of the earth. Hence, the light, the dark, the day and night is just kind of setting the stage. How, some will say it was Big Bang, Big Bang theory, and then this is how the earth started, right? So he's just basically describing that how earth was formed, how he created the earth, the waters, the dark, the light, and so on. So for me, it's very literal in this phase. It doesn't even make me want to go to the esoteric yet
Right, right.
at this
Yeah,
stage.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole you would need the whole wrap up of the all the 6 days of creation or 7 days, I guess, because the rest day. Um, and that kind of will tie back. That would always tie back into one of two main ideas, which are like the tree of life ideas, but also you can go into like Buddhist um, terminology, and usually the number seven is revolving around the chakra centers and stuff like that. So you could actually relate each day to a specific chakra moving up the channels of the body. So each story, um, and you'll see a repeating theme within this type of allegorical understanding, which is it's all about this coming from a dark place and entering into the light. And so
Yeah.
all of these stories that we're going to get into and read are all going to be around the same premise, uh, um, esoterically, right? They're all going to in just the spiritual understanding of it is all going to be kind of like that. There's this separation of good and evil, light and darkness, and then but you're always coming from the darkness into the light. So yeah, I think the
Interesting.
evening into morning is pretty huge
Clear.
on the spiritual understanding side of it.
For
This is
me,
great.
for me, I know, for me, not yet. The only part that's obviously not literal is how long is the first day, how long is the second day, right? Time wise, is it just means to be like step one, step two, like, is it just an order of things? What came after what? One thing I don't ever believe in a literal format is that obviously it didn't take 7 days to create everything we know. So so
Right.
is that each day is a timeline?
Well,
Some people think each day is 1,000 years, let's say.
each
But
it does say that in the scripture that a day is 1,000 years.
oh, it does.
It does actually say it.
Oh,
So it's so
that's why
funny
they
that you
believe
mentioned
that.
1,000. So some people do interpret it that way.
Okay.
The one thing that I think is pretty an interesting concept is that instead of imagining it like okay, God created the earth, because we have scientific data that dates the earth very very old, carbon dating and digging into the ice caps, digging into the sea floors. We have very uh, scientific methods for finding how old the Earth is, or an approximation. And so then Christians will get all up in arms and they'll be like, no, the Earth is only 7,000 years old, and that's it. And it's just
Well,
like,
it's the six,
okay,
seven thousand.
but let's
Go
say
ahead,
that the
sorry.
first day was 1,000 years. That means 7 days. So we're past 7,000 years when the creation happened already, right? And
And
then
only now Adam was born, or Adam
right,
is,
yeah.
arrived.
So I think it's interesting. But the other concept to really understand is that when God created Adam, He created him as a full-grown man, right? How old was Adam when he was created?
Old enough to have kids.
Old enough to have children. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was 40. I mean, he lived till 900. So he could have.
I,
Maybe he was
I do
created at 100.
think I do think oh, where did I see this? Yeah, I cannot reference it, but I do think he's believed to be in his 20s, and then I think he has a kid when he's 40 or something, the first kid.
I
I
would
don't
say
I don't know.
their
He was an
record of
adult. I think we know he
the
was an adult.
right. Well, I mean, I was going to say the the record of their decision making leads me to think that they were probably teenagers, but
I mean, 20 can be pretty stupid
yeah, I agree with
still.
that. So,
But
no
also,
offense to
hey,
any
hey,
20-year-old.
just because he was born in a big, like, mature physical body doesn't mean his brain was. He's still 1 year old. He was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
born.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But and it's funny though because but that's the whole concept that I think needs to be understood is that God created man not as a baby but as an already matured human being. Therefore, when he created the earth, it wasn't as if the earth started at that moment that he created. He created a mature form of the earth that already had mountains. And so all of these things, like the creation of the mountains, even though God may have created the mountains in an instant, and he doesn't have a timing. So he may have stepped outside of time and took 1,000 or 100,000 years to create those mountains.
To
But
form
in
the.
our timeline, we see it happening in an instant.
I
Um,
mean, I think majority of Christian. I could be wrong, but I think majority of Christians who say that the Bible, like, or it's we're 6,500 years old. I think they are referencing just the new, like they're starting after the flood.
mm,
Because if you start after the flood, it kind of pans out,
hmm
right? But not before. You can make after the flood pan out to 6,500 years logically,
Well, even
but not before.
have you heard of the Sumerian kings list? I believe this is where this is written. I could be completely off with what I'm telling you right now, but there is something that
The
someone would
Sumerians, the Persian Empire,
the
or the
Su-
Sasanians. Oh my God.
Sumerian the old
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Sumerian.
Shumer. Yeah, in Armenian, Shumer. Okay.
Yeah, in the kings list, they actually list different kings ruling and how many years that they ruled over specific areas or whatever. Some of these kings were ruling for 10,000, 12,000 years.
Or I'm chat GPTing this real quick. These rulers were said to have reigned for thousands of years, making them more mythological. Alulim, for example,
Yes.
28,800 years.
Yes.
Alangar, 36,000 years, and so on. And
Yeah.
then it becomes slowly. I think we're going to see this theme in the Bible too, right? All of a sudden it goes Jusur, 1,200 years. There's somebody at 900 years. Then it goes to Gilgamesh, 126 years. Then it drops to 25, 56, 36, 18. This is interesting because in the Bible we'll see the same kind of theme, how our life slowly just goes from living 900 years, let's say, to getting cut and cut and cut down to whatever it is now.
Barely, I mean, barely people make it to 100 these days.
If they make it to 100, we're just like, wow, what a good
Yeah,
life you lived.
yeah, right.
I have some theories on that, but
Mm.
okay. I have some
Oh
theories
boy, oh boy.
as to why and how we could potentially far longer. We just are that far removed from the. I see the human body as this vessel that probably at some point we had a manual to it. We knew how to read it, and we were more disciplined, and we maintained it properly. Kind of like you maintain your car, you have to oil it and rotate the tires so that it just runs longer, right? If you just completely abandon it, it's going to just have a shorter life. Similarly, I think in the Bible times, when people lived 900 years, most likely they had the manual. They knew what to do. And we don't. I don't think we do. We have
I think
lost it to a degree where we
the
don't even
only
know what real food
way
is.
that you could change something like that, yeah, again, is going to be like this. There has to be some spiritual source of infinite healing, so to speak, idea to get that type of longevity. It can't just
Not
be
even.
eat your
Not
beets,
even.
you know?
Oh man, I can. It doesn't have to be beets, but I'll talk when we get to the diets, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.